You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it. The NBA playoffs officially kicked off with the Orlando Magic traveling to Cleveland to face the Cavs. It seemed, though, however, Orlando had left their Magic at home, falling to Cleveland 97-83. The Suns traveled to Minnesota to face the T-Wolves. The Ant-Man-led Wolves rose to the occasion, beating the Suns 120-95 after being swept in the regular season series. The Knicks opened up their series against the 76ers with a 111-104 victory in a game that saw Joel Embiid re-aggravate his knee injury. Finally, to top off a full day of basketball, we saw the Los Angeles Lakers head to Denver to face the reigning champions, the Nuggets. The Lakers, led by LeBron James, started off strong, but fatigue would settle in, and in the third quarter, the Nuggets would begin to pull away and ultimately win 114-103. Introducing my guest at this time, he is a young and ambitious real estate agent in the Northern California area. His passion is sports and his faith is unwavering. He is my younger brother, Alex the Monk Peralta Hernandez. If you folks have any real estate questions, please feel free to reach out to Alex. He'd be happy to help. Alex, how you doing, buddy?
It's a sad day. Lakers lost, but it's okay. Yeah.
So, bro, let's get right into it. Let's start off with the first game. It was the Orlando Magic versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I thought the game was good for the most part. I thought for the Magic, it was something that I expected to see just because it was basically a debut for everyone on the team. Banchero played really well. I thought they were actually coming back towards like the start of the fourth quarter. But Cleveland, I think, is just more experienced right now, so they'll probably end up winning the series. But if it was another season or if we were to do this same matchup next year, I think the Magic could actually win just because I really don't think the Cavs are a great team. They make a lot of mistakes in my opinion, and I just don't like Donovan Mitchell as my primary option. But I mean, I thought it was a decent game.
I honestly thought it was a defensive slugfest. I thought the
Mm.
Cavs' experience was what ultimately decided the game. Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell stepping up, Garland, them being in a situation like this before, and they're also at home. It was a great start off for the Cavs. And honestly, it's the 4-5, so this series could go either way. I could see Cleveland winning the first two games at home and ultimately sweeping, but I could also see them winning the first two at home and then going to Orlando and losing two on the road. Again, this series is literally, in my opinion, 50-50, but I do think Cleveland will edge out the Orlando Magic just because of the experience factor. And it's also the first time the Orlando Magic have been in the playoffs.
No, that's why I said like if it was like next year and it was the same matchup, I think the Magic win. But like just this year, based off experience, the Cavs probably will take it like in
I
five or
got
six
that. I got
games.
that.
Yeah.
So the next game, how about let's get
Mhm.
into
This
the
one was
T
good.
Wolves versus the Suns.
This one was
Man,
good.
man.
I like this game. I thought KD came out strong and played very well in the first. I thought honestly he played well throughout the whole game. It's just, those issues that we've been asking or, wondering about the whole year when it comes to the Suns, like, you know, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, how are they going to share the ball? How are they going to play together when it matters? Like Bradley Beal played a good, efficient game, but it's not a game where he really produced, and then the team isn't deep either. And then Ant, I mean, killed them in the third. He had like 18 in the third quarter. So I thought it was a real good game overall for the Timberwolves. Cat played great coming back off his injury. Honestly, this game should go easily to the T-Wolves. Maybe not easily, but it should definitely go to the T-Wolves just because their defense is really good and they had big players step up. So shout out to Nikhil Alexander Walker.
So who you got in the
Big
series?
shots.
Who do you got in the series?
Oh, I got the Wolves. I got the Wolves. I think they got honestly a better roster in terms of depth and what everyone brings to like the team. Like everyone knows the role. And I think the Suns are still figuring that out, to be quite honest, when it comes to like Bradley Beal and Devin Booker.
I'll be completely honest with you. I agree. I think the T Wolves. I think this is their second year with Rudy Gobert. Correct? They
Yeah, yeah.
acquired him last season, so I think their chemistry, especially with Ant-Man coming back, it's gathering cohesion. It looks like Cat hasn't lost a step since he's been out with his injury, and the chemistry that they had today, I think this was his third game back. Dude, it was resounding. I think the matchup is just too much for the Suns, and I hate to say it, but I think the T Wolves are going to make the short work of the Phoenix Suns in this series. I'm surprised, and I hate to say it, like I think the time for the Suns, I think last year was the last real opportunity that they had to compete for a championship. They just gave up too much to acquire Bradley Beal, and I really do think CP3 on that team was a great fit for what KD and Devin Booker want to do. Now the playmaker, now the point guard is essentially Devin Booker, and
Yeah.
it's just not the same. It's not as cohesive. They're lacking chemistry. And I hate to say it, but this is definitely going to take a toll on KD's legacy, in my personal opinion. Yes, he is a
I
champion.
I
Um,
don't think so if he drops like
if he
35.
gets swept,
If he gets swept, sure, but if he gets swept dropping like 40, I mean, at that point he couldn't do anything. His team was just booty.
I think the hit on his legacy is going to be that regardless, his decision making is what ultimately costed him an opportunity for more rings. It's
Yeah.
That's going to be his legacy.
No, that's true. I could agree with that. I think it's gonna be a next good couple of games, to be honest, just because of Ant.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Ant-Man is going to be the next great American star. We all thought it was going to be Jason Tatum, but that hasn't necessarily came into fruition. Jason Tatum is still amazing. He is one of the faces of the leagues, especially as an American talent. But in my honest opinion, I think the real competition is going to be between Ant and Jason Tatum for that number one American star here in the next few years. Moving on to the Knicks versus the 76ers. Alex, what was your thoughts on that game?
This game was tough, man. Honestly, like I made a bet that the Knicks are gonna win the series, right? So I'm hoping the Knicks win. But
I think they are.
I think they are just for the sole reason that Joel isn't healthy 100%. If Joel was healthy 100%, then they win, especially because the Knicks don't have Julius Randle. I think Julius Randle's a big part of what the Knicks want to do. And, right now, Joel Embiid is playing, but he's not 100% healthy. So I feel like the Knicks will take it. And I think they're playing better basketball. I will say I hated a lot of the shots that Jalen Brunson took today. I feel like he was just chucking him up at times, but they came out and won. I mean, they're the harder playing team in terms of, making all the hustle plays. I thought their bench stepped up with Bogey and Miles McBride, huge buckets. He made some big shots. I think the Knicks will take it, even though the Sixers have the better roster, in my opinion. I just think the Knicks will take it just because Joel's not 100% healthy.
So I'm gonna be real with you. My honest opinion on this whole situation. Yes, Julius Randle is a big part of what the Knicks want to do, but we got to also take into account that Julius Randle hasn't been on the court for I think the last 2, maybe 3 months. So the Knicks have adjusted without him, and a lot of their key players that they acquired after the trade deadline, they have come into their own. They also got hurt after the trade deadline, and they're also starting to come back. So that chemistry and that cohesion between Hart, Jalen Brunson, DiVincenzo, those guys, that's coming together. So I honestly think because and also the 76ers, they were playing great with Joel Embiid. I remember I turned on the game and all I see is Joel Embiid throwing the ball up and trying to go for an alley-oop dunk, and then I see him get hurt. That was the first thing I saw in that game. And I'm just like, what? I felt for Joel because he's been battling injuries his entire career, especially to try to make it into the playoffs and the postseason, making that run. And ultimately, that's what's cost him opportunities to go and pursue championship. It's his health. And I hate to say it, I think that's what's going to cost him in this series because I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if he plays the next game. That injury, I saw tears in his eyes and I felt for him, man. And I thought he wasn't going to be able to come back and play the rest of the game. So for him to be able to come back and finish out the game, that was great, but it wasn't enough because they still ended up losing that game to the Knicks. And I don't think he's going to play the next game. I think they're going to sit him out and he might, there's a chance he plays in Philly, but if they sit him out the next game, I wouldn't be surprised if tests come back and they're like, okay, we might have to pull him out for the series. And it's a long-term game, but at the
And
same
and
time,
that team is completely different with Joel. Like when he plays, they're one of the best teams in the league. But
they
when
are.
he's not playing, they're one of the worst, honestly.
Yeah, we saw the record
Yeah.
with and without him.
Yeah.
All right, now let's move on to the cherry on top of the NBA Saturday lineup. The Lakers versus the Nuggets.
This
How
game
you
hurt.
feeling, buddy?
This one hurt, bro. Like they were playing so well up until like I'll say like the 9 minute mark of the third. Like, damn, dude, this one hurt. Like they just looked so lost afterwards, so tired. And like maybe it's that Denver altitude, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. The Nuggets are so good. And D'Lo keeps choking, only made 1 3. It pisses me off. D'Lo just, it's sad.
It's okay, brother. Talk to me. It's okay. Tell me your sorrows. It's okay. I'm here to listen. It's okay.
See, look. I thought it was a good game all the way through the first half. LeBron was playing well. AD was playing well. They were being aggressive, but like D'Lo needs to make his shots because if he doesn't make his shots, then we're not a threat at all. Like Rui can only do so much, AR can only do so much. D'Lo's supposed to be the shooter on the team. Got the Laker record for the season on for threes. Just do it in the playoffs. That's all I ask. Is that too much? Just make at least three threes, four threes.
To be completely honest with you, I honestly thought this game was the best chance the Lakers had to win the series or to win a game, at least in the series. The way that they started off, how they were able to get a lead at the beginning of the game. They honestly had Denver on their heels to start off, and then Denver started to come back in the second quarter. They still had a lead, but after the halftime adjustment, it was just a completely different ball game. And to be completely honest with you, I feel like they're relying a little bit too much on LeBron James, especially because we know what LeBron has done in the first round. And LeBron, we saw him in the playing game against the Pelicans, even after Zion went out. He was gassed, and I hate to say it, in this game, I also saw him a bit gassed, especially because he had to deal. I saw him defending Jokic a lot of the night.
Oh,
Um,
tell dude, that was terrible. I've never seen LeBron get bodied until today. I was like,
yeah,
what the hell happened? I know he's old, but damn, dude. I was like,
you
geez.
saw his age, right? Like that
I was
was the
like,
first time I
damn.
really saw his age. Like I've seen like even last year in the playoffs, you saw him get all the way to the conference finals, and yeah, like at that point you understand. But bro, this is the first game of the first round. Like he's already done. I get it. Like he played the play in and now he's playing another game, but I'm worried, bro. Like this was legitimately I thought if the Lakers were able to hold on to what they how they started off and just keep maintaining it throughout the game, they were going to be fine. But they came out the third quarter, they just came out flat. I don't know what to say. I don't know to blame if I
Yeah.
should blame Darvin Ham
Yeah.
for
I honestly thought when AD and Jackson Hayes were on the court together, it was a good fit. I was like, oh, hold on now. He might be onto something. Let him cook. And then I thought they were playing
it
well.
worked for a little bit.
It worked for a little bit. I mean, Jackson Hayes is like +4 if you look at the plus minus. But the problem is the bench is just ass. The only person that scored is Torian Prince, 11 points. The other three players had 0, 0, 0.
Torian Prince was actually had an actual solid game. Bro, I honestly, bro, realistically, I thought the Lakers didn't play a bad game. LeBron got his points. AD got
AD got
32.
his
You
points.
can't ask more from AD, bro.
You gotta get it from D'Lo. Rui gotta be a little bit more aggressive. Only took
Bro,
four
like
shots.
legitimately, like you can't. Lakers shot 49%, bro. This game should be deflating for you guys, especially because I honestly thought this is the best shot you guys had to winning a game in the series just because of how you started off. Now, after losing the way you guys lost, I don't think you guys have enough in the tank to win game two. And I definitely think by the time you guys get back home to LA, you might be gassed. You just might be too
I don't
gassed to
know.
be able to do anything.
I think they win game two,
I
but
don't.
game three and four
They
at
got
home, I
swept
think we
this year,
win.
didn't they?
I don't think we're getting swept at home.
Didn't they get swept this year in the regular season
Yeah, in
series?
the regular season, yeah. I think the only way we win the games is if D'Lo can be the shooter that he is and make at least, three threes. Rui needs to be a slightly more aggressive on offense. Only took four shots. That's not enough. He's a really good three-point shooter, so he needs to shoot the threes too. And yeah, I mean, I think that's I don't know, man. That one hurt to watch, honestly. I was like, damn.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops. On Sunday, the Heat without Jimmy Butler traveled to Boston to kick off their first round series. The Celtics were prepared to cool off the Heat, who came into the game confident, having blown out the Bulls the game before in order to make the playoffs. Boston from the jump showed why they were the best team in the NBA this year, dominating the first three quarters, blowing out the Heat 114 to 94. Guys, my biggest takeaway here was that Boston was able to hit threes while the Miami Heat couldn't hit water out of a boat. Also, they didn't attempt as many, and I feel like they're also lacking leadership when it comes to not having Jimmy Butler out there. is going to be what costs them this series. And they're usually very competitive, but this game, it was just not a competitive game from the start. Boston was able to hit their threes. They both hit the same percentage. They both hit basically the same amount of shots. It's just Boston shot about 13 more threes and made 10 more. And that's why the score was what it was. I also think the Heat are lacking leadership. And with Jimmy Butler being out, I think it's going to be quick work for the Celtics in this series, to be honest. Moving on, the Dallas Mavericks visited the Kawhi-less LA Clippers. The home team came out hot and firing on all cylinders, while the Doncic-led Mavs were caught unfocused and unprepared for the moment. LA dominated the first half, scoring 56 to Dallas's 30, and only holding the Mavs to 8 points in the entire second quarter. After the break, Dallas was able to get into a rhythm, making it a somewhat more competitive ball game, but it was all for naught as the Mavs fell to the Clippers 109 to 97. Guys, my biggest takeaway was how good the Clippers defense was in the first half against the Mavs, especially without Kawhi Leonard. I think if they can do this consistently, have them unsettled in the first half of ball games, and then obviously the Mavs, Kyrie, Luke are their great guys. They're gonna figure it out by the second half, but by then it be too late if the Clippers can maintain this level of hotness without Kawhi Leonard. It was a great ball game, and we shall see what happens in game two, guys. This is gonna be a great series. Moving on, it was Dame time in Milwaukee as the Pacers visited the Bucks. The Bucks, who were without their franchise star Giannis Antetokounmpo, leaned heavily on the elite talent of the player they acquired this summer, Damian Lillard. The first half was all Milwaukee on both sides of the ball, making multiple defensive stops, creating easy buckets down the floor to establish a 27-point lead heading into halftime. The Pacers made some adjustments in the third in an attempt to get back into the game, getting within 12 heading into the fourth. However, the Bucks behind Chris Middleton's fourth quarter scoring would soon close the door and beat the Pacers 109 to 94. I'll be honest, guys, I thought Doc's coaching was going to blow the game for the Pacers. They're late, especially how they were able to come back and make it a 12-point ball game after being down 27. Kudos to Doc for being able to make some sort of fourth quarter adjustments, or maybe it was just the players being able to come together in the fourth quarter behind Chris Middleton and closing out that ball game. Because coming out in the third quarter after being so dominant in the first half, they came out flat. And frankly, when Doc is coaching, I don't blame the players as much as I blame Doc Rivers, because we know Doc's propensity to not be able to adjust and make the right moves in second half of playoff games. Again, this is only game one. We will see if Doc's woes that have pursued him from the 76ers. Prior to that, the LA Clippers are going to continue to pursue him here with the Milwaukee Bucks. But kudos to Doc and the Bucks for being able to close out that ball game and win game one without Giannis. To end Sunday's slate of playoff basketball games, we got the Pelicans facing off against the Thunder. After getting a lot of blowout games on Sunday, this game was a great way to end the night, ladies and gentlemen. The game was close the entire way, with both teams being tied at 43 going into halftime. The Thunder in the third, however, were able to briefly pull away, outscoring the Pelicans 31 to 25 in that quarter. In the fourth, it seemed like the game was destined to head into overtime with a minute left as the Pelicans were able to tie up the game at 90. But it was MVP candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who put the Thunder on his back, draining a smooth jump shot that also drew a foul to put his team up by 3. The Thunder would ultimately win 94 to 92. Guys, I'll be honest, I was pleasantly surprised by how the Pelicans were able to match up against the Thunder, especially without Zion Williamson. They gave him a run for their money. I think the Thunder need to be able to rectify the mistake of allowing the Pelicans to have so many second chance points. I think we will see them make that adjustment in the next game, and I don't think the next game will be that close, especially because the Pelicans shot so poorly and were literally in this ball game just because they wanted the rebounds more than the OKC Thunder. OKC has great talent, great bigs, and I honestly think they are better on OKC than they are on the Pelicans, especially right now that Zion isn't there. I don't think game 2 is going to be close. I think the Thunder are going to blow out the door and make the proper adjustments, especially they're not going to let them be able to crash the boards as much as they did this game, especially without Zion Williamson being out there on the floor. Guys, stay tuned for some empowering with positivity. Time for empowering with positivity. Today, I will be empowering you to make some money with my NBA picks for Monday and Tuesday's upcoming playoff games. Guys, the way I bet the NBA, I do not like to bet the point spread, mainly because depending on who is reffing that game, it can go either way. Point spreads, especially in the NBA, I can't really predict. I'm better at it in the NFL than I am in the NBA. So, for us here today, we're just going to do money line and we're going to still make some money. So for Monday's games, I got the Cavs over the Magic. I still think the experience of Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, them being in this position last year, they're going to make mincemeat of the Magic, who are still trying to figure out who and what they are. They don't know what they don't know, and they're going to be in the land. They're going to be down 2-0, and then I think they're going to win a game at home, but I think the Cavs are going to ultimately prevail at home against the Magic. So take the Cavs over the Magic. Guys, take the Knicks over the 76ers. Joel Embiid is going to actually play this game, but I don't think he's going to be at 100%, and I would be very cautious at this point. Joel really wants to be out there, so he's going to give it his all, but still take the Knicks over the 76ers. The chemistry that they have under Tom Thibodeau and with Jalen Brunson leading the way, it's just incredible, and I think that cohesion is just too much for the 76ers, especially with an injured Joel Embiid, for them to overcome, especially in New York at the moment. That crowd is going to be rowdy, and if they smell blood in the water, it's going to be over for the 76ers. Trust Jalen Brunson and the crew over there to get the job done, and they're going to be able to overcome the injury-struck Joel Embiid and the 76ers. Moving on to the Nuggets over the Lakers. It's still in Denver. The champions are the champions. Will the Lakers make some adjustments to make it close during the first half? Yes. Will the Nuggets be able to turn it on in the third and ultimately the fourth quarter and prevail? Yes. I think game 1 was the best shot that they had. The King is in jeopardy of being swept by the Nuggets, to be completely honest with you. I just think they're just like at another level. They're like what the Warriors were in the second championship run they had with KD. They basically just cruised through the regular season, and then in the playoffs, they turned it on and they cruised through the playoffs. And that's what the Nuggets are ultimately going to do here against the Lakers, with an aged LeBron James, who the Lakers are actually leaning a lot on. I hate to say it, but the King has seen better days, and the altitude plus being gassed at the end of the game 1, I don't think he has enough time to recover, especially if he's going to be guarding Jokic. That was a horrible idea. So yeah, take the Nuggets over the Lakers in game 2 in Denver. Moving on to Tuesday's slate of games. Guys, I am taking Phoenix over the T-Wolves. I think game 1 was a wake-up call for the Phoenix Suns. I believe Devin Booker and Bradley Beal with KD, they're going to get their shit together, because they have to get it together. If anything, they're in jeopardy of being swept by the T-Wolves if they don't. So yeah, take the Phoenix Suns over the T-Wolves, because there's just a lot riding on it, and the pressure would be turned up another notch essentially if the Phoenix Suns are down 2-0 to the Wolves going back home. So for KD, Devin Booker's, and even Bradley Beal's legacies, they kind of need to win this game, so the pressure isn't tremendously on them, because being down 2-0 is going back home. Yeah, you're going back home, but the T-Wolves are the second best team in the West for a reason, and bro, Ant-Man's on a different level right now. Cat and Rudy Gobert, that size. Eesh. But I gotta believe in KD and Devin Booker and even Bradley Beal. I think they can get it done, and they have to get it done. So take the Suns over the T-Wolves. Take the Bucks over the Pacers. If Doc Rivers doesn't blow this game, I think the Pacers are going to make the proper adjustments, but I also need Doc to make the proper adjustments. I think Dame is going to be Dame. My little brother basically convinced me that Damian Lillard is Damian Lillard in the playoffs, and it's Dame time for a reason. So yeah, take the Bucks over the Pacers, even without Giannis being there. I think the Bucks have a really good chance of winning. Moving on to the Dallas Mavericks over the LA Clippers. The reason why I think the Mavs are going to beat the Clippers is because we saw the frustration in Luka in game 1. If he can keep his composure in game 2, looking back at the tape, the guys need to want it as much as Luka does. And without Kawhi Leonard there, they shouldn't be struggling this much. And you're going to see why Luka is an MVP candidate. It's between, I believe, Shai, Luka, and Jokic this year. So, guys, take the Dallas Mavericks over the LA Clippers. Ty Lue is a great coach. Hats off to him, especially because he's getting the most out of Russ and James Harden at the same time. And they're both aged. But Luka, Kyrie, that team in Dallas, they have a great opportunity right now to get on a mini run and even cement Luka and Kyrie's legacy even more. So yeah, guys, remember my picks are Cavs over the Magic, Knicks over the Sixers, Nuggets over the Lakers on Monday. On Tuesday, we got the Suns over the T-Wolves, the Bucks over the Pacers, the Clips losing to the Dallas Mavericks. So yeah, guys, please subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Share this with your friends, families, and partners. Make some money with my picks. Listen to my sports takes, or just watch for some positivity. Always remember, desire is power, and if you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Thank you for watching another episode of N1 from the End Zone. I love and appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more.